consumers are starting to anticipate this sort of sense of perhaps sort of long-standing turbulence. And so in that long-standing turbulence, there's this belief that, A, I've got to be more self-reliant, B, I've got to start to really practice what we call more durable living, which is the idea that you need to sort of be more sensible with the way that you think, and you really need to step forward and think about this as a marathon, not a sprint. And so consumers are doing some really interesting things. The management principle in this is to really understand the consumer's desire for this more durable lifestyle and to be with them and to be a brand that lasts. Communities become so incredibly important right now to people as a result of the recession. And when I say community, it could be your social network of people around the world, or it could just be people in your neighborhood. Is anybody using Groupon? Anybody part of that? This collective buying phenomenon is taking off in huge ways. It's becoming much more mainstream. You know, the more people that join into a deal, the better price you get. People believe that they can change corporate behavior. They've got the power of all these social tools now to sort of amplify their voices and to organize. And they're also starting to step up and connect with values. They're saying that I make it a point to buy from companies whose values are more similar to my own, and I might necessarily reject brands that companies whose values contradict my own. So you take that in the context of what's happening with mobility, amplified by social power, and you have this unbelievable rise, obviously, in the ability for consumers to have unprecedented power and to basically connect, whether it's through TripAdvisor, whether it's through Yelp, whether it's through Curbed, anything they can do to sort of connect in ways to sort of make their voices be heard.
Friending phenomenon is here, and consumers want to be your friends. So about half the people on Facebook decide to friend a brand, which means half the people don't. Okay, so it's not an all-encompassing strategy, but half the people decide to friend a brand. And maybe they'll friend 1, 2, or 3 brands. So it's their favorites. Okay, it's the ones that they have a real close relationship with. It's not a mass thing. And what they're really looking for, okay, they're friends with benefits. So they are becoming friends with your brands so they can get coupons. But what happens is after they become your friends, they do become more engaged with you. Okay, it is a way to establish a rapport with your consumers. So we looked at these people who become your friends, the percent of them who visit your site before they become your friends, which is the bar in gray, and then their site visitation with you after they become your friends, which is blue. And they do. When they become your friends, they come visit you more often. So it does establish a relationship there. But when it comes down to when they're ready to make a purchase, social media is not where it's at. So your friends turn into just mere acquaintances. So it's the old reliable channels when it comes to influencing information sources, which is personal advice from friends and family. 39% of the people go to search, and 18% of the people think about social media. And when they're specifically on the hunt to buy a particular product, 57% of them start with a search engine, compared to 2-3% who go to social media. Okay, so obviously the proof is in the data, and we worked with Compete.com to look at the effectiveness of traffic and what that brings to you. And we looked at the referrals and the traffic that these sources bring to the table compared to the conversions that they bring to the table. So basically the effectiveness of bringing you conversions. And far and away, search is a more effective driver of sales on your site than social media. Okay, so social media is cool, right? It's social. That's fun. It's cool. People are looking for it. They want to friend you. But they're looking for fun. They're looking for coupons. But when it comes to driving sales, you don't want to abandon your reliable channels.
We're seeing more users actually begin researching on Google, but we see a change in their session as they continue to refine that query. And over time, we see more and more of them actually transitioning and adding query terms to find local places where they can buy the product that they've just started researching online. So this online to offline effect is not just something we see in a lot of external market data now, but is actually something that we're seeing in our query stream, and it's been very influential for our strategy. I want to highlight actually one of the most important kinds of social content, which is product reviews, often forgotten in some cases nowadays when we look at Twitter and Facebook and all these other very important social media sites. But in fact, reviews we're finding when we look at how users are leveraging search engines are some of the most important kinds of social content that people are creating out there. The last time I was here, we made a pretty exciting announcement from a Google perspective, and that was we were moving beyond just indexing all the products available in the virtual world to actually incorporating products in your physical stores. So we didn't want Google just to be a place where users can find where to buy online, but we also wanted users to be able to find where they can buy that product in the physical world. I mention this because we've also incorporated the local information into Google Shopper as well that I mentioned earlier, local availability content in the latest release. And with just one click here, you can actually find the product that you're looking for at a place near you, and then either find directions to go directly there, or with one other click, you can be on the phone with that store to either reserve it or inquire more information about it, et cetera.
Our sort of grand vision here is a fewfold. We want to try to simplify the buying display. For those of you that are familiar with the process, it's really messy. There's lots of faxes involved. There's lots of opportunity to create efficiencies in just the mechanics of the buying process. And we think that's going to help facilitate dollars coming online away from traditional media. Targeting is an ever huge theme at Google. And I think in particular, this is an area of our product that's evolved really dramatically over the course of the last year. So we break down targeting into sort of two components. The first is where they are, right? What is the context of the user? What content are they consuming? This is where you can essentially target a keyword. You can buy keywords. Anytime that keyword shows up on our network, your ad might appear next to that keyword. The other component, which is new, is this idea of where have they been, right? This is sort of your remarketing or behavioral targeting. And we've got two offerings there. Remarketing, which allows you to target an ad to somebody that's been to your site and performed a specific action. And interest category marketing, which allows you to target an ad to somebody who we think is behaving in a certain way. Remarketing is really, really productive. If you're talking to qualified prospects, they're more likely to convert. Everybody gets that. The problem with remarketing is scale. You only have so many qualified prospects. And so the way you can achieve scale in the context of this product is to target contextually, right? Drive traffic to your site, increase the size of your prospect list, and then leverage that investment through remarketing.
You're seeing a smartphone development cycle here that is driving what I think we'll all look back on in a couple of years and see as the most important shift to happen in our space, I would say, in the last decade. We have to stop thinking about the mobile device as something that's different than desktop. If people are willing to sit there for a half hour, an hour, and be entertained on their mobile device in a similar way to that they use desktop, we need to start evolving our thinking and how we market to consumers. We're using those mobile devices. Some folks are getting ahead of this movement in mobile and are optimizing for their customers a good user experience. I'm always surprised when I don't see this. And so for all of you, I'd encourage you, go look at your websites, not just for your brand, but sort of all your sub-brands and your products that you want people thinking about, and make sure it's really easy to buy stuff on the site. So I want to talk a little bit about location. So lots of devices, people using all these devices to access the web. People are behaving a lot like desktop customers. Search queries are very similar, et cetera. But with mobile devices, something is different. We know where you are, so long as you have permitted us to know it. Which is to say, if you look for J.Crew on a mobile device, and you're in Soho, and an ad pops up and tells you to go to the liquor store, the click-through rates on an ad like that are typically better than 10x higher than if it just appeared on a desktop and we didn't know where you were. When the result is nearby, the interactivity with the ads is way, way, way higher. So location becomes extremely important. We all start to have to think not just about our .com properties, but our physical store locations as well.